Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's myth. This week, we're looking at a very interesting myth evolved from running, very much in the running culture, and that has to do with training for long races. So, let's say you're training for a half marathon, or a 10K, or a 5K, whatever that is you're trying to work up to. There's a lot of training programs that will just say that every week you should run maybe 100 yards more than you did the week before. You'll just start real small, maybe a walk around the block, and we're going to try and build our way up to a mile, and then we'll work our way up to 2 miles, and the next week we're at another half a mile, and now we're at 3. And that's one way to do it. I will say at the beginning, when you're trying to go from walking around the block to maybe your first mile run, it's not a bad way to go because you can kind of make good, steady progress. Problem is when you try and apply that to the 8, 10, 12 mile range, it gets very hard to, especially if you're not an avid runner for a long period of time, to endure all the miles that you're putting in your body. People pick up injuries very quickly, and you can put yourself out of the race before you even get to race day. So my suggestion for you would be called something called repeats. For those, what you're going to do is you're going to work yourself up to a distance that is a portion of your total distance. So let's say you're trying to run a half marathon. You're then not going to work your way up to run 8 miles this week, 9 miles a week after that, 10 miles a week after that, and in 12 weeks you're running 12 miles. That's very unrealistic. What you can do, however, is to start working your way up to a maybe 2 to 3 mile range. And then you can run that repetitively. Or if you're working on a smaller distance, you can work, let's say you're working up to a fast mile time. Maybe you're training for cross country, you're getting a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, depending on what level you're at. You're not going to just go out and run that mile and then try to run it as fast as you can. What you'll do is you'll take that and you'll break it into 4 or 5 pieces. And let's say you're running quarter miles, and then you're going to run quarter mile as fast as you can and take a nice long break, maybe 5-10 minutes to let everything cool down. Then you're going to run another quarter mile as fast as you possibly can. And then you'll take another break, and you'll do it again, you'll do it again, you'll do it again. You may wind up running 2 miles that day, preparing for a mile race. But if you're doing 2 miles, and each one of them is a quarter mile increment as fast as you possibly can go, or whatever your tempo is for that day, you're going to get faster and you're going to get progressively better at running that mile time. You're not going to get better at running a mile time fast if you are running 2 miles the same speed as you run 1 mile. It doesn't reverse transfer. There's no transfer back down because your body is just used to going that speed. Now you might have the endurance to get there, but endurance is very easy to train. We can work on endurance on a row or on a bike and get to the same spot for endurance. So if you're trying to improve your times on a short race, definitely break those down smaller. If you're trying to prepare for a big race and you want to run 13 or 14 miles or 12.2 or whatever it is that you're trying to get to for a longer race, break it into 3-mile chunks, run 3 miles, take a good little while off, run 3 miles again, or run 3 miles in the morning, take a little while off, and run 3 miles in the afternoon. Break up those distances. The shorter you can make those distances and the more repetition you can get on that, the more you'll be prepared for race day, especially if you're putting those distance breaks in between shorter and shorter in between each time you run. So let's say you start with running 3 miles to prepare for a 6-mile race, right? If you can run 3 miles and then take a half-day break and run 3 miles again that night, that's great. But if, as we progress towards race day, you run 3 miles, take a 20-minute break and run 3 miles again, then you're going to be much more prepared for race day when you have to run all 6. Now, if you can get to the point where you're running 3 miles, taking a 20-minute break, running 3 miles, taking a 20-minute break, running 3 miles again, then race day is going to be easy and you can go pretty quick. This is the way that we can start breaking down things and manipulating things for training to help you get to where you're wanting to go. Perks of having these shorter run distances and less wear on your body at one time, it's one, you can get faster, but also you're picking up fewer injuries because the wear and tear on your body from a long period of time, pushing to the ends of your limits, doesn't happen. You're pushing it in a short period of time with high intensity, but not so high that you're pushing yourself outside of your bounds. So then when you come back and do it again, you're still pushing, but you're not getting to that ragged, dead tire state that you would get to around 12 miles. And your risk for injury is way lower. So if you're looking to go for a longer race or even a short race and trying to get better at your times and distances, try breaking those down into smaller pieces and then repeating those at certain increments so you get a good decent amount of rest in between and then run it again. and then see if your times and your endurance come up or your times go down.